Welcome back, everybody. SIMCAT 11. I'm here back with SIMCAT 11. A few short approaches. The first question. Now, this is one question. As I said, you can pause to read the question carefully. As I said, this is a question I say you can solve with the on-screen calculator. I have to try to get an on-screen calculator here. So if I get the on-screen calculator, this becomes very easy. I'll use a standard calculator that is available on the CAT's screen. Somebody, Ajay, invested 15,625 rupees at 20% simple interest for 3 years. Simple interest, 20% simple interest is 60%. Multiply by 1.6. We have his amount, 25,000. At maturity, he will receive 25. This is your X from the amount. Now he borrows an equal amount X, 25,000 plus he borrows 25,000 from his friend. So now he has double the amount. Multiply by 2, we have 50,000. Ajay is investing this 2X, 50,000 in a new scheme, which is again at 20%. But this time it is compound interest. And the data says the interest given to us is 74,416. So if I add the principal to that, the amount should become very close to 1,25,000. Very close to 1,25,000. Remember, this is not an exact amount. We want something very close. So we'll again use the calculator. We have 50,000 rupees as a starting value. We keep multiplying by 1.2 for 20% interest. Keep multiplying by 1.2 for every year. Multiply by 1.2. So after 1 year, the value becomes 60,000. Multiply by 1.2. After 2 years, the value becomes 72,000. Multiply by 1.2. After 3 years, 86,000. Multiply by 1.2. After 4 years, 1,33,000. We are very close to 1 lakh. And when we multiply by 1.2 again for the 5th year, after 5 years, it becomes 1,24,416, which is exactly what we need. If I subtract 50,000 from this, we will have 74,416 rupees as the interest. So the answer for this question is 5. The answer to this question is 5. We enter 5. The number of years is 5 years. A very interesting question from geometry. A right angle triangle. The side AB is 100 and the base BC is 100 root 3, which clearly tells us that this angle is 30 degrees, which we don't need. We don't need it, but we should remember. The hypotenuse now would become 200. We could have used Pythagoras also without the 30 degrees. Now, what are we asked? AB is 100. We are asked AB plus DB1, which is this vertical line. And then DB1, B2, which is this vertical line. So we need the summation of all the vertical lines till infinity. We need S infinite. S infinite of any sequence is the first term 100 divided by 1 minus R. That means we need to now calculate R. Obviously, this is going to be GP. So we need to first calculate what is the length of BD. I keep saying, remember your equations, right angle triangle. From the right angle vertex, we are dropping a perpendicular to the hypotenuse. There are 4 very important equations. 4 very important equations. Remember these 4 equations. Now, one of those equations is H is equal to AB by C. So we have 100 into 100 root 3 by 200. Which gives us 50 root 3. BD is 50 root 3. So how much has it become? It has become 50 root 3 out of 100. The common ratio of this GP, including all the sides, AB, BD1, BD, DB1, B1, D1, all of these sides, the ratio would have been root 3 by 2. But we don't want all the sides. We want alternate. We want alternate. So when you do the alternate sequence, the ratio of the GP will become square. That would become 3 by 4. So R has been got now 3 by 4. So our equation becomes 100 upon 1 minus 3 by 4, which is 1 by 4, which gives us 400 as the answer. The answer to be entered is 400. Remember these 4 equations. Remember the 4 equations told to you. Remember this situation very well. Remember this situation very well. Ideally, if you want to remember, we can go on. This is the side A, this is the side B, and this is the side C. If we want the ratio, if we want the summation of all the sides which are shown, not the alternate side, all, then S infinite would simply be AC upon C minus A, C minus B. But S infinite for alternate, starting with A, would simply be C square upon A. This is something which you can remember. C square by A. C we had calculated as 200. So it is 200 square by A, which is 100. So this is what we would have directly got as 400. You can remember this result again if you want to. S infinite for all the sides, not the alternate, but all the lengths which are shown. A, B, B, D, D, B1, B1, D1, D1, D2, D1, B2, B2, D2. So that would be AC upon C minus B. This is for any right angle triangle. And if you are looking for alternate sequence, AB, DB1, D1, B2, and so on, the required one, it is simply C square upon A. C square upon A. Moving on to the question number 4, a very simple question, a very simple approach. A tunnel, a rabbit is here somewhere with this distance is 2 by 5th. So obviously this distance is 3 by 5th. Divide the tunnel into 5 parts. Divide the tunnel into 5 parts. The rabbit is at the second part. When the rabbit runs toward the front end, the train reaches the front end. The train is at the front end when the rabbit reaches the front end. Whenever the rabbit covers 2 parts, the train would be at the first front end. That means even if the rabbit had covered 2 parts on the other side, he would be at the 4th part and the train would be at the entrance. When the rabbit is at the 4th part, the train would again be at the entrance. So now when the rabbit covers 1 more part, the train would have covered the 5 parts. So the ratio of the speed of the rabbit and the train is 1:5, and the train and rabbit would be 5:1. The speeds of the train and the rabbit will be in the ratio 5:1, which is none of this, not in the option, so none of these. The answer would be none of these. Quadratic equations. Pause here. Now, one very interesting fact. When delta is negative, there is no real root. There is no real root. Which means the entire graph of the quadratic expression would be on one side of the x-axis. If A is positive, the entire graph would be positive. If A is negative, the entire graph would be negative. So in our case, we have a positive x square. A is positive plus 1. And look at the delta. Delta is b square minus 4ac. 4 square minus 4 into 5 is minus 4, a negative value. Delta is negative, which means this entire value will be greater than 0 always for any value of x. Had we not known this, it would have become lengthy to solve. But knowing this, now we can shift this bracket onto the right hand side without changing the sign because it is a positive value. Now we can write 2x square minus kx plus 9 is greater than x square cross multiply. X square plus 4x plus 5, which gives us 2x square minus kx minus 4x. So minus k plus 4 into x. 9 minus 5 plus 4 is greater than 0. Again, we have a quadratic expression which is always positive, which means delta has to be less than 0. Delta is again less than 0. The same concept is used again. Delta less than 0. So what is the delta of this part? Minus of k plus 4 whole square. So minus n can actually be avoided. B square minus 4 AC. Sorry, here will not have the 2. X square minus x square will become this. So minus 4 into 1 into 4 is less than 0. K plus 4 whole square minus 4 square. Let's not write it as 16. Let's write it as 4 square is less than 0. So it is p square minus q square is less than 0. So p plus q, p minus q. K plus 8 into k is less than 0. And what we ultimately have is this is 0 at minus 8 and this is 0 at k is 0 at 0. So k is always between minus 8 and 8, minus 8 and 0. Minus 8 is less than k is less than 0. Option 3, option C was the right answer. The third option was the right answer. Remember, whenever delta is 0, delta is less than 0, the entire expression stays on one side of the x-axis. If the coefficient of x square is positive, the expression is positive. Negative, then full expression is always negative. So use this in inequality. A very simple question. Manohar, suppose Manohar had asked, or let's forget Manohar, let's talk of any random customer. Suppose the customer asks for 1,000 grams. The shopkeeper puts 1,000 grams of sugar or whatever on the scale, and the scale reads 1150. That is what the question says. The balance is a faulty balance. It reads 1150 grams for 1,000 grams. That means the customer will end up paying for 115 grams, 1150 grams rather than 1,000 grams. The customer is paying for 150 grams extra. This is what the customer is losing. Manohar is losing. Manohar has lost 150 grams. But then remember, he has not paid for 1,000 grams. He has paid for 1150 grams. When Manohar pays for 1150 grams, he loses the money equivalent to 150 grams. We don't need that 50 kilograms of sugar. So 0 cancels out, 5 cancels out, and we have 3 out of 23. Out of every 23 rupees that Manohar pays, he has lost 23. He has lost 3. The correct price should have been 20 only. Instead of 20, he is paying 23. He is losing 3 out of every 23. And the question says he has paid 4600. So simply do the cancellations. Manohar has lost 600 rupees. The correct number to be entered here is 600. The ninth question, a very simple question. I'll not solve this question. I'll only explain the meaning of this question. The meaning. What is the meaning of this question? A simple twist of words. A simple twist of words. What is the number of trailing zeros in 2000 factorial? Not in the standard decimal system, but when expressed in base 16. Expressed in base 16. Of course, we call this the hexadecimal. But let's just talk about 16. When the base is 16, the question indirectly says, what is the highest power? Highest power of 16. The question is indirectly asking you, what is the highest power of 16 in 2000 factorial? 16 is 2 raised to 4. So find the highest power of 2 in 2000 factorial and divide by 4. Of course, the integral part would be the answer. It might end up having a fraction. Find the highest power of 2 in 2000 factorial and divide by 4. That's it. So instead of 16, they could have asked you base 7, base 11. Of course, those are prime numbers. Suppose they'd asked you for base 11, what is the number of trailing zeros when expressed in base 11? It simply is the highest power of 11. Base 15, that is simply is the highest power of 15 that you are looking for. Simple meaning, a twist of language. Now, this is a very interesting question here. Looks like a difficult question. A circle, inside the circle there is a square. Inside the square there are two diagonals, and then there are 4 circles, and then a central small circle. And what is the question? Find the ratio of the area of the largest circle to the area of the smallest circle. So if I say the largest circle has a radius r, the ratio would be, area would be pi r square. And the area of the smallest circle is r, then the area would be pi r square. So we are looking at r by r whole square. R by r whole square. Okay, I have got a figure which looks a little better than this. This is a bit too thick. The lines are too thick and look small. Let's have a bigger picture. Okay, so all we need is r by r whole square. So let's start by taking r as 1. So ultimately what we need is 1 upon r square. Or you can say 1 upon r whole square. So I'm taking the radius of the larger circle as 1. This radius is 1. This is r, which is 1 I'm taking. This is the center of the larger circle. This is the radius. This is the radius. Now this triangle here is a 45, 45, 90 triangle. So the side of the square would become root 2. All the 4 sides of the square are root 2, root 2, root 2. Now what is the green circle? Green circle is the in radius, in circle of a right angle triangle. You can see that the green circle is the in circle of the right angle triangle. Now how do I get the radius here? This is the radius that I want. So this is the diameter. And this is the diameter of the in circle, and this is the diameter of the in circle. So I can simply write root 2 is equal to 2 diameters of the in circle plus 2r. Now what is the radius of an in circle? What is the in radius of a right angle triangle? We know it is a plus b minus c by 2. So we have taken the sides of the right angle triangle as 1, 1 plus 1, and the side of the hypotenuse, or the side of the square, which is the hypotenuse of that right angle triangle, as root 2. So 1 plus 1 minus root 2 by 2. That gives us 2 minus root 2 by 2. This is the radius. So the diameter will be double. It will simply be 2 minus root 2. And remember, we need 2d. So we have now root 2 is equal to 2 into 2 minus root 2 plus 2r. So root 2 is equal to 4 minus 2 root 2. And in short, we have now 2r is equal to 3 root 2 minus 4. Now we need 1 upon r and then whole square. So what is 1 upon r? So of course we have 2r. So r will be 3 root 2 minus 4 by 2. So 1 upon r is 2 upon 3 root 2 minus 4. Now we need 1 upon r whole square. We can find the square and then rationalize the denominator, or we can first rationalize the denominator and then find the square. So if I rationalize the denominator, 3 root 2 plus 4, and divide by 3 root 2 plus 4, what does this give me? 3 root 2 minus 4 multiplied by 3 root 2 plus 4, 18 minus 16, which is 2. So 2 cancels out. It simply is 1 upon r is 3 root 2 plus 4. And now I need to find 1 upon r whole square. So that would become 3 root 2 plus 4 whole square, which gives me 18 plus 16 plus 2 into 3 into 4, 24 root 2. 18 plus 16, sorry, 18, 34 plus 24 root 2. Take a 2 common, 2 into 17 plus 12 root 2. That's the answer. The first option, 2 into 17 plus 12 root 2 is 2, 1. That is the answer. Slightly calculative, but not difficult. Slightly calculative. But remember, the end radius of a right angle triangle, the circumradius of a right angle triangle, the median to the hypotenuse is always half the hypotenuse. Remember the things that I taught to you. So at least two. At least two would be a many. Suppose there are n photographs. We know that it is NC0 plus NC1 plus NC2 plus NC3. I'll write a few more because ultimately we need at least 5. So NC4 plus NC5 till NCN. This total we know is 2 raised to n. Now the question gives you this number. This entire total is 32752. Looks like a very difficult question, but no, it is not. Now these two numbers are going to be very small. It is 1 plus n. 1 and n will be very small as compared to what is the rest of the number. That means we are ultimately looking at a power of 2, which is just a little more than 32,000. A little more than 32,752. A little more. Do you remember the power? Do you remember the powers that you are told to remember? You are told to remember 2 raised to 12. 2 raised to 12 is 4096. 4,000 approximately. Right now. We need to cross 32,000. Simple, just try to multiply by 8. 2 raised to 12 multiplied by 2 raised to 3 should be 8 multiplied by 4096. 8648, carry 4. 8972, 76. 8432. And look, exactly what we have. We have a number which is 16 more than the given number in the question. 1 plus n, if n is 15, 2 raised to 12 into 2 raised to 3 is 2 raised to 15. So if n is taken as 15, it exactly matches. So we have found our n. N is equal to 15. We have found our n. The number of photographs is 15. Now what does the question want? How many ways can she select? At least 5. So this is what the question wants, this number. The total here is 32752. We need to even subtract 3 more things. We need to subtract NC2, NC3, NC4. Subtract these 2. We need to calculate what? 32752. Further subtract 15C2, 15C3, and 15C4. This is what we want to calculate. So we subtract NC2, NC3, NC4. 15C2, 15C3, 15C4. Now how do you calculate that? 15C2 is 15 into 14 by 2, which gives us 105. Now do you calculate 15C3? Simply multiply 105 that we have got by 13 into 3. So that gives us 35 into 13. 13 5s are 65, carry 6. 13 3s are 39. 39 and 6, 45. Now do you find 15C4? Simply multiply the 455 that we previously got by 12 into 4. 12 by 4. Oh, that's just 3. 3 5 15 carry 1. 3 5 15 and 1 16 carry 1. 3 4 12 and 1 13. So this is 5 5 5 15 carry 1. 1 5 6 and 6 12. 2 carry 1. 1 1 2 2 4 6 6 3 9 and 1 1925. Subtract 1925. And don't do the whole calculation. 52 minus 25 is 27. The last 2 digits is enough to give you the answer. You don't need to verify 308. So if the answer is the fourth option, 30827. The fourth option is the right answer. When you can get an answer with the last two digits, don't worry about the entire answer. Okay, the 19th question. One tap can fill it in 18 hours, the other in 24 hours. LCM is 72. Let us assume that the tank is 72 liters. The speeds become 4 and 3. Half of the tank is filled with the capacity, combined capacity 4 and 3, 7. 36 liters is filled with the capacity 7. The other half of the tank, 36 liters, is filled with a capacity which is 3/4, reduced by 25%. Reduced by 25, 1/4 becomes 3/4. So let's take the 4 in the numerator. Don't simplify. Don't cancel out 36 and 6. Don't cancel out 36 and 3. Leave it as it is. Take 36 by 7 common. We need the total. So we'll take this as 36 by 7 into 1 plus 4 by 3. Got the magic? This becomes 7 by 3. So simply 7, 7 cancels, 36 by 3, and you have 12 hours as your answer. The total tank would be filled in 12 hours. Right? The answer to be entered was 12. The second last question of the SIMCAT. 3713. Ravi Sohan RST. The difference between the amounts of S and T, T and S they've written, you can take it as S and T. The difference between these two is here we can see that it's a multiple of 6, but they say it is both a multiple of 6 and 10. A multiple of 6 and 10 means a multiple of 30, LCM. So if the three numbers are 3 is to 7 is to 13, the difference here is 6, and the summation of all the three numbers is 23. But we know it is not 6 and 23. It has to be a multiple of 30. So let's multiply this ratio, the required number and the required total, by 5. So whenever the difference is a multiple of 30, the total will be a multiple of 115. Now we are told that the total with all three is less than 5,000. So we need a multiple of 115, which is just a little less than 5,000. So divide 5,000 by 115. Looks difficult? No. 115 into 4 is 460. So we have 440 left over, 400. Obviously now you can't have 4, you'll have 43 point something. 43. The multiplier is 43. We need to multiply by 43. Okay, you don't like to multiply by 115, but you don't like to divide by 115. Let's cancel out a 5. Let's rewrite 5,000 divided by 115. Let's cancel a 5, 23. That gives us 1,000. 23 into 4 is 92. 100 minus 92 is 8. Now we can't have 4. 23 into 3 is 69. So 43 is the largest multiple of 115. We can only multiply by 43. So the maximum possible total will be 43 into 115. Again, keep multiplying. Excuse me. 3 into 5, 15. Carry 1. 3 into 15 is 3 into 15, 45. 3, 1, 3. 0, 4, 15, 60. 4, 1, 4. And you have 4, 9, 4, 5. The correct answer to be entered is 4945, 4,945. So not very lengthy. A very interesting question here again. A very interesting one. So we have a trapezium, isosceles trapezium. Remember, it's an isosceles trapezium. And we have L and P, the triangle in between, the middle triangle is an equilateral triangle. This triangle is an equilateral triangle. Point Q is bisects. Q and S both bisect the diagonals. The diagonal LM is bisected. So this will bisect. When this bisects, this has to be the middle point. That means it is the middle point of even KP, LP, sorry. So the diagonals, both the diagonals have been bisected, which means LMPK is a rhombus. LMPK becomes rhombus. This becomes a rhombus. And ultimately, what do we have? That means if this is an equilateral triangle, this is also an equilateral triangle, this is also an equilateral triangle. We have three equilateral triangles, two straight and one upside down. And what is asked? Find the area of KQSN. So this lower trapezium and the area of PQRS, the quadrilateral here. To simplify it, I have the figures on the next page. KQSN. Now, instead of calculating the areas, I can talk about the equilateral triangle. Let the area of the equilateral triangle be something, which again is not. Just let's keep it as 1. Let that area of the equilateral triangle be 1. Now, this is half of an equilateral triangle. When you join the midpoints of an equilateral triangle or any triangle, you get a triangle which is 1/4. So this is 1/4. This is again half of an equilateral triangle. And now magic. Remember this part. If you have any triangle, not an equilateral triangle, any triangle, you join the midpoints. See, the upper triangle is 1/4. We know that. That is okay. Everybody knows. That is exactly what we have written here, 1/4. But there is magic here. When you join these two diagonals in the lower trapezium, this area becomes 1/12th. Remember this, it becomes 1/12th of the equilateral of the triangle. 1/12th. So what is the ratio that we want? The area of KQSN, which is half plus 1/4 plus half. And the PQRS, which is 1/4 plus 1/12th. Half plus 1/4 is 5/4. And 1/4 is 3/12. So 1/4 plus 3/12 plus 1/12 is 4/12, 1/3. So this gives us 15:4. The correct answer is 15:4, option 4. The fourth option was the right answer. So that was the last question that I had selected from the SIMCAT. Work hard, remember things that you're told to remember. Remember, work hard and stay safe. Logging out. Goodbye.